the American people want something, and we're not providing it. And what they want is freedom and opportunity and prosperity. And that comes from the people. So that, to me, is overwhelmingly exciting. That here's something that can be fixed, and fixed easily from the standpoint of what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Very difficult because, we just talked about people set in their ways. Well, in politics, people are set in their ways.
Jim, welcome.
Thank you, Sam. Good to be here.
As I mentioned before, just very interested in general, the topic here is leadership and your life story as it applies to leadership, kind of things that you hold to be important, whether we're referring to individuals that other people may know from history or from, kind of the news or whatever, or just people that are very personal in your life that, made a big impact on you. So after your very successful business career, you're into politics now. So what is up with that? What motivates you to do something like that at this stage of your life and your career and all of that sort of thing? And what are the prospects? Like, what, just from the inside, like, what does this look like? Because folks like myself, all you see is the bickering or whatever. But
yeah, there is a lot of bickering because I think you have two opposing ideologies.
Yeah.
I won't get into that, but I saw the direction of our country and it going in a way that really disturbed me, scared me. And so I decided to become a volunteer because I wanted to be able to really look at my daughter in the eyes and say, you know what? I did what my dad did. He passed on a country where opportunity is something that you grab hold of. And if you're willing to work hard, you're going to be able to be successful and happy. I was seeing a lot of people not happy. So I decided I had to do something. And I would say that there's two major driving factors why I got involved in politics. We talked about my mom and dad, the World War II generation. I woke up one day and realized how grateful I was for what they gave me. My parents, their generation. And then I felt I had an obligation to do the same for even children not yet born in our country. And so I got involved, and from there, I'm a pretty outspoken guy, and some people have asked me to run for various offices, and in 2016, I actually did run for an office. I ran for the U.S. House of Representatives. But the election was stopped on me, and they moved around some districts, and I was not able to complete that goal. But that's okay, because I've been standing up, and I'm going to continue to stand up. We all have a responsibility here. I always thought politics was something that was left for politicians, but it's really left for the citizens of the country. That's what it's.
What drives you about it? Like what do you enjoy about it? And then at the same time, maybe the flip side of the same coin, like what frustrates you?
What drives me is that there's such a huge opportunity, and from my perspective, to get government out of our lives, and what that will do for this generation and future generation. That just drives me. You can look at it, and like if you looked at a transaction and you say, oh, this client over here has been doing business with these guys and they're not answering the needs. And I'm saying the American people want something and we're not providing it. And what they want is freedom and opportunity and prosperity. And that comes from the people. So that, to me, is overwhelmingly exciting. That here's something that can be fixed, and fixed easily from the standpoint of what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Very difficult because, we just talked about people set in their ways. Well, in politics, people are set in their ways. I think I fit in really well is that so many of the politicians were doing it to serve themselves, doing it to have a career. Well, one, I'm too old to have a career, and I wanted to serve. And so that set me apart, and it really resonated. What weighs on me is that changing of what we need to change, or albeit from my perspective easy, is going to be very, very difficult because of an established foundation that's out there.
Yeah.
So for me, it's getting back to the basics, getting back to what our Constitution says the rules are. And if we follow that, I think we're going to be really, really okay. But
Well,
I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like it's also sort of embracing your, sales mentality and just kind of building, what are we building here?
Right.
Kind of back to the
Exactly
foundation
right.
of your first
Yep.
chairman. What are we building?
Yep.
And it's not that comes without frustration or setbacks or challenges,
Right.
but it's...
Well, it's interesting what you're saying is because when I first went out on the campaign trail, all the advisors from Washington to local said, all right, these are the things you got to hit on. I said, I'm not going to do that. So, but of course you got to talk about this and talk about that, talk about. I said, no, that's not how I'm going to build my relationships. And they said, how are you going to do it? I said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do town halls and I'm going to go into people's living room and I'm going to listen to them. I did exactly what we did at my company. And from that, I was able to formulate what I would speak about. And it fell in line with many of the things that the consultants in Washington and here wanted me to do. Mm-hmm. But I had the words of the people who were going to vote for me, not the words of consultants. And so it was able to mesh it. So listen first. To me, that's the most important thing.
I imagine it might be the same advice, but as you look forward and you're providing advice from, again, a very successful career in many different ways, if you're providing advice to leaders of the future, what would that be? The 25-year-olds that are sort of attacking business or their careers right now, and you look at the whole process of influence or leadership, what's the advice?
I would tell them that being a leader is one of the greatest opportunities, most fun, and greatest responsibility that you'll ever have. Because what you're doing is allowing individuals to succeed, giving them a path to take their talents and let them blossom, let them explode. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is what Ken Ponticus, the founder of my company, did for me. He allowed the knowledge that I was trying to gain, dealing with my customers, to flow up to him so that he could end up being the leader. Just like when I went out on the political campaign trail, listening to the voter. A leader listens to the people that are reporting to him. So that is a huge, huge opportunity, but the responsibility is serving. Mm-hmm. The responsibility is not looking in, but looking out, mm-hmm. and embracing people who want to help you build something. I think if you leave from that platform, people will end up getting whatever vision you want to put out, will go through walls for you, will then themselves become great leaders. That's the opportunity and that's the responsibility.
Now, a big part of your personality is sense
humility.
of humor. Yeah, that as well, yeah. It's a sense of humor, right? It's kind
I'm going to say thank you.
Laughing at yourself,
Right.
Political correctness in this day, is it something that is sort of challenging the comfort level, for lack of a better term, that people have to just be themselves? Okay, as you look back on your career and various things, and
I think there's political correctness that becomes a weight on people, and then I think there's rudeness that requires some being politically correct, right? You can
Agreed.
be obnoxious, but it just seems that in general, people are tending to modify who they are in order to be accepted by what someone has dictated the norm is. This is how you're supposed to behave. I don't think God intended us to be that way. I think one of the great things of life is making a mistake and realizing, correcting it, and then making yourself better. But if you have somebody with a magic wand that says this is exactly how you're going to go, if you go outside those bounds, you're hurting someone else. I just think that's harmful. I think it's destructive to leadership. If you go on the premise that we're uniquely individual, and that if we listen to each other, if we work together, we can do great things. I think you work yourself through some of those issues that people have said should be in the forefront of your mind today. I think it handicaps people.
Yeah. There is undoubtedly a question or two that you would have asked yourself that I didn't ask you.
I was just curious if you wonder why I'm such a better golfer than you.
No, I don't, because
Well,
it
have you
has to do
seen
with
your
the fact that you play a lot more.
No, it could be that you've never seen your swing on film. Perhaps if you did that, you would understand what I see.
No, I don't want to be. I shouldn't be doing that. No. Well, anyway.
All right, Chief.
Thank you.